Well, hello there, everyone. Hey there, Realia. Hope you're doing well. Now seeing you around as usual. There we go. Back through the bunk. There we go. So, sorry I didn't answer earlier. I was making a little list of seeing what kind of games do I have installed. Now, I was kind of feeling like playing Dwarf Fortress because I haven't played it in ages, but then I also realized, well, we do the game dev, and I'm not always that good at deciding what to play. So I said, well, let's just make a random list of games that I have already installed, and by we're done with deving, we'll vote on those. Last time we had a vote, Stationeers and Dwarf Fortress both got one vote, and I let Stationeers win. Because in the case of a tie, I make my own wild choice. But this time we'll give you some more choices. We'll not include Stationeers because we've been playing a lot of that lately, and I do want to continue, and I will continue. But it'll be just better to just plan for days. This will be a Stationeer day, So, welcome in everyone, and let us jump right into it. Whoop, there we go. So, what did we get done last time? And it's all good? I'm glad to hear it, alright, Realia. Yeah, just had to make a list, write it down, and pin it so people will be able to see it should they care, and if they want to think about it in advance. I think this, making a sort of votable system would be pretty good, actually. We'll make more of those days. And then have some days when I decide what I want to play, because there's like Stationeers and so on, and it's gonna be played. I like the game, and I like the puzzles. But there's other games that I would really like to play more of, which is actually Void Stranger, which is a puzzle game with an really interesting design and surprisingly deep storytelling, considering you're just moving blocks around. Honestly, I've been on a DF watching kick, and I'll most likely continue here. Well, I'm glad to hear it. And I'm very much a newbie. I barely know what I'm doing in that game, and the last time I played it was before the Siege update. So, yeah. I love watching people who know what they're doing play the game. And even then, I'm getting some ideas you can do this and that. And then if I try to play the game, swoosh, all the ideas go away. And I'm like, I don't know, Durf, do thing. Do my best. I have a vision for what I want to build, and it feels silly and stupid, and that is why I really want to try to make it happen. And that is a high-rise tower. And I want to have it full of offices. Everyone gets a freaking office for no reason, but there should be an office tower of dwarves will be made for some reason, and it will not only rise up into the air but also deep underground. I have a vision, and that vision does not need and shall not make any sense. And I have a defense system planned out based on a theory of how things might work. I've been tempted to try to ask people who know more than I, could you make this thing work? And I came to the conclusion that you know what, we're gonna find out the hard way. It's more fun. There you go. And if you're not YouTube side, you're also will be part of the vote. You can't be taking part in the poll by themselves, but I should have put numbers on that list. Well, we'll have a vote then when the time comes. If you feel like participating, I'll count your vote manually. Now, it's one of these times where this thing doesn't want to properly work. How about like this? No? I don't get it. Sometimes this thing... well, there's one way to do it. Okay, good, you don't hear that. Wonderful. At least some of the audio shit is working. There we go. Okay, so goals for last time. We got the filtration rune to work, we got the power source rune to work, we got the entire thing to kind of flow. We wanted to then also make alternative runes for testing, which we didn't do, so that's why we got the X there. The thing is, but we do have them inbuilt as a sort of logical system, so we can make that. In fact, we can do that immediately. Oh, there's even ads going on, but sorry about that. But well, let's do then goals for today, because I realized that, well, the next thing I do want to test is, like I mentioned last time, try to make a UI, make something so we can actually see how these things work, and that actually adds more pieces to the flow than I realized, because what we made now for the runes is pretty much only the scripts. But we have these thing called resources, which is what I've been sort of building these to be the base classes for. And those are things that can then, if I remember correctly, then be used to create scenes and things. We'll have to like figure out how that shit works, because I think those can then contain like all the details. Because we have the base class for like say a power rune, and then we use the resource structure to make the different kinds of runes. Like let's say if the filtration, like fire, ice, or each element. We're gonna want to make some sprites. Oh, okay, let's walk this one backwards as well. So now we do goals for 20th of January. It's already the 20th. Jesus Christ, time just flies, man. It's insane. All right, so the 20th of January, what we want to do is make a UI so I can move stuff around. Yeah. What do I want to do actually? Or do I want to make sure our attacks flow? I mean, we are delivering them. We have the damage information stored in the elemental power array thingamabob. Beyond that, though, we're not doing much. I'm thinking, well, the editing is the point of the game. What is damage but delivering numbers from point A to point B? We're doing that. Just not the correct numbers currently, but that's fine. We can always stick them in. Because as we saw in the runic circle, because we checked what the values had in like while the game was running, they had the correct numbers there. But we could also add some more details so we can do some more, testing and actually see what the fuck's going on. And that will include having a UI for just being able to, test how that works. And it is a fun and new challenge. Give me a little bit of something else to do. So we'll do, and also because the circle is at the point like I can't sort of visually, because I think very visually, I can't sort of see in my head what do I actually need in order to make a sort of crafting system that would actually, deal with people. There we go. Whoop, there we go. That's a little better. Now we do crafting UI, how do they work? It's like magnets, Oh yeah. To figure this one out, so we're gonna figure out how to do our crafting UI. We're gonna just, essentially what we want is a menu window. We can just use a array to split it down like, I don't know, the middle-ish. And on this side, we have the visual representation of our runic circle. We can do this shit with polygons, easy as pie. Then in the middle of the nodes that we draw here, we'll have, markers so we can know the positions of the runes. Here, we would have text information about what's happening and a list of available runes. Now this is like, the meat and potatoes of design. Like how are things placed? Where's the best like UX, user experience, and so on. Now the stats of the attack itself probably won't need that much. So if we simplify this, we'll have craftable items here, and we'll do details on this side. I love how you've worked this out in the beginning of your day, to be honest with you. I should really practice listing out my thoughts. Oh, thanks, Aurelia. Yeah, it helps me because, having you helps me do the age-old trick of rubber ducking, of explain to the duck what is the problem, and I walk through this the problem step by step, because the duck doesn't understand. So you have to use, simple terms. And that often helps you figure out what are you doing, what is the problem. And I realized this works with everything. So I'm using my lovely audience as a rubber duck in this instance. And also it helps me then sort of visualize what's going on. Because like I said, I think of things very visually, how things link to each other, what goes here and there. And also in a sort of narrative structure in my head, like because like things have a flow in a way. It's hard to sometimes explain, like, well, how does your like brain's internal logic work? Well, it has there's a story and a visual element. Which, funnily enough, made me have then, once I finally figured out that it's okay to think for yourself, ended up being like very handy in maths and so on. Call this one deets. So the details will be on this side. We'll have then the craftable items here, and then we got to figure out how to do a click and drag system. Now, that is it's a shitty UI, but the point is, at this point, it'll give us all the information we need, how to make it beautiful. That's polish. That is endgame. We don't even need this much detail at this point, to be honest, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to. Because in the beginning, I'm doing this like old school game dev style of like just making something that works. Because usually when they build a demo, I like they have this even term, like the pretty corner, which is what you show to your investors. Because you build a game and it's just math, it's just blocks, it's just barely makes sense unless you know what you're looking at. And then you have one corner that you made look really nice. And that's the one you show your investors, because that shows how the game should work. This is what you eventually then expand to demo to show to the audience, to investors and whatnot. But I'm approaching it that way, so that's why we're not trying to make anything too pretty right now. And right, it's a great way to do it. I'm very similar, and oftentimes I tend to overwhelm myself because I didn't list my thoughts out to refer back to or to get better organized in my head. Yeah. As you might have noticed, especially with me playing Survival Crafters, I suffer from the same problem. I definitely should have more, list of goals. But here we're getting there. And also, like I said, because also, if you write things by hand rather than type them on the keyboard, I firmly believe you'll have a better grasp of what you just wrote down because you have layered memories of the muscle action of writing, the brain doing the thought work to how do I write this, and then what we're actually meaning to write. And when layered memories of the same thing strengthen the memory in the meat of the brain, the animal side. You gotta remember, language is extremely and entirely artificial. None of this is quote unquote in the real life, in the meat. And that's why we need all the tools we can help to make these actually stick in our meaty parts. Agree with that? Yeah, it's good. I guess. I'm sorry. I don't always know what to say. I try to always have something to say. Yeah. Glad you agree. So crafting UI, how do it work? Okay, we thought about this here, so we'll have. Let's actually write some details here, because if we look at this one later on, that looks like more like decked, and what the frig is that? Is that a dictionary? No. So we'll draw lines here. We'll do. Here's a visual circle. Crafting plus my handwriting is absolutely shit because I write so little by hand nowadays, so it was always a little chaotic, but it's just gotten worse. And the attack details. There you go. So just so we know what's there, when we can use very simple UI elements to build a menu like that, and then we have to think about how do they get their information. Okay, so they're stored there. Who, what, where is this stuff stored? Okay, for the player, they'll be stored in their inventory and so on. Most player details, like hit points and detail, will all be stored inside Player Manager, so that all that information can be referred to and accessed to from multiple scenes, including Toga's having wild dreams. Including levels where they're running around. When you open a menu, we need to also see these numbers, and they all can reference that global. So we get that information from there. So that will be for the player. For the enemies, well, they won't be doing any crafting, so they don't need any of that information. They'll just have their own like internal circle, which has been pre-made, and live with that. Heckin' perfect. Okay, so right down here, we do crafting, components, and circle details stored in player manager. The global holds that information. Fantastic. Then, and the circle itself knows what was inside its points again, because that is stored in the player manager. Yeah, that'll work. Now, of course, every time we start the game, we'll have a sort of like a preset. We have no save load system. We'll implement all of that shit eventually. Right now, we'll have crafting components and circle details stored in player manager. We'll have let's do here. I want click and drag for components. Now just clicking a component pop-up comes like add, remove, or like in which position. We can implement buttons first, but click and drag is what I want. It makes for a more pleasant crafting experience, I think. Alright. So yeah, we can make that work. There we go. Okay. And put the drawing stuff away, because we have once again reached the point where I need to start making things so I can figure out what I don't know how to make. Theorizing further will not really get me anywhere. So, jump in here. All of this is kind of working, and we have, let's check our structures here. We have our resources, the runes themselves, which sure has those. Yeah, we'll have to reorganize all of that eventually. Hello there, Magnadrakamon. Hello, Hanu. I have a simple question for you today. Do you think getting into game dev is difficult? I mean, that depends really, like everything, on what are you trying to achieve and sort of why. And I need to do something about... Oh, easy peasy. See, I right-click, exit Steam. Thank you. There we go, because, we don't want those pop-ups there. That would depend on what do you mean by that. Do you want to start making games, or do you want to get a job in the industry? Job in the industry, yes, it is difficult, as is in all software currently, because with the AI craze, there have been a lot of savings in places. Plus, of course, well, later in the past years, many large studios have made some really bad calls on what kind of entertainment to make to people. That has bit them in the ass. So the industry isn't doing on a large scale that hot. So getting a job is difficult because, well, there's the number of jobs is kind of going down while the amount of developers keeps on increasing. And it's always been tricky for new developers to get into an industry because the industry always wants to hire, experienced people. But then if you look at the indie dev side, there's a sort of golden renaissance happening there. So games as an industry is actually doing really well, in my opinion. The large industries aren't doing that hot, but the indie scene is thriving, and thanks to that, we're seeing a lot more interesting and weird and clunky games thrive and do well. I mean, look at like My Winter Car, absolute hit. It is, let's be honest, it is a poorly made game. It is, a suffering fest, but it's super fun and it's wonderfully made in the way it is. It is, beautiful with its imperfections. If you have no experience in coding, then then you have to learn that skill either first or while you code. Because if you look at, for example, Stardew Valley, that was a man trying to make his dream game, and if I remember correctly, he had barely any coding experience. I do believe he was an artist first, who then learned coding through making his dream game. But that's an example of how it could go. That's like winning the lottery. Your first project turns out to be a freaking mega winner. And I've had the dream of being a game developer since I left high school nearly 20 years ago. But I've been held back by being a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. Hey, that is an amazing trait to have, I'd say, if you're a solo dev. Because you have to do it all the way yourself, unless you have, deep pockets or someone who's giving you funding so you can do all kinds of shit. So you can hire others. And in being a jack of all trades, master of none is also a benefit in getting into any industry, in the sense that you can fill many shoes. And in doing a job, you will eventually become more specialized in it. And being aware of how other parts work in a larger structure also makes you better at, well, any of those components. Because it's always tricky to work with someone who knows exactly how their field works, but they don't understand how everyone else works. Coding speak like API problems there, it's because if you don't understand how everything else works, even at a shallow level, that will make it much more easier for you to work with them, because then you know what they would be expecting from you and what you could expect from them, and how to communicate. So that makes your job easier. Hey there, Manaway. Hope you're doing well. KeemHoax.com doing all the lurking, 25 streams. Oh, hot diggity. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Very kind of you. And good morning to you, Manaway. And Magna, I'd say if you want to just, like I said, you have a dream for 20 years. The question is, do you want to go, like I said, a job in the industry? It is a challenge. It is true. I am unemployed currently. I tried to get into the deving things, but, stuff happened. And I never really got in there. And I know I'm not that bad at what I do. I'm just at an amateur level because, no one's paying me. Practice makes perfect. And if I could go work in an actual industry, I imagine I'd get a lot better, a lot faster, because then I can, learn more from those, my seniors with more experience. Currently, I'm doing it all sort of on the ground level. And also, but I'm very much enjoying doing this with the solo level way, solo dev way, because, again, it is the whole jack of all trades kind of thing is helpful, because now this forces me to learn so many things. I'm hoping that this experience would then, of course, help me then work in teams better, because I would then have at least some understanding of what kind of stuff would they need in animation if I'm working on deeper engine mathematics. So I'm thinking, okay, I have to make sure I have extra memory where I'm storing these details, because while I do nothing with a certain, say they hit your health points previous value, I really only care about where it is currently when something's happening. But animation does care about the previous value, because they need to be able to animate, a transfer from point A to point B happening. And if they only get 1 point, well, then you have a thing, there is no animation. and that kind of stuff. But if you just want to make games for the joy of it and hope maybe you'll make some more money out of it, then absolutely go solo dev. Practice makes perfect. Like for the last year-ish, I've been trying to do every weekend the Try Jam, make a game in 3 hours. I found that extremely educational because it forced me to not try to take on large projects that were a bit outside my scope and skill range without having at least some skill level, because you can't make anything complex in 3 hours. You can maybe make a shooter. You can maybe have a menu with a button that says start. But that is also maybe pushing it. And it was for many of my projects, because there was you launch the game on itch.io and it just launches into the game, and you might have an end game screen. But that kind of stuff forced me to think about what is the core of the design, what am I actually making here? And I personally feel that helped me a lot. Plus, I keep on emphasizing this. In the beginning, I can only assume I'm not the only one. The cost of failure is an emotional one, and that can really slow down your motivation to keep going. But in a 3-hour game jam, the cost of failure is so low. Because it's 3 hours. No one is expecting anything. You should not be expecting anything. If it works, that's already a victory. If it doesn't, well, you got somewhere, you learned something, and at least you know what bogged you down this time. So that way, just getting used to making tiny small projects. Some of them work, some of them don't. And now I got used to starting a new thing, building at least something. And I got more used to my tools. Engine of choice for me, Godot. It's light, it's simple, and like I've said before, I like it because of the whole. It's open source. I'm not legally bound to any company. I would like to learn more about, say, using Unity and Unreal, especially Unreal, because, like I said, Unity's management makes me itchy, and Unreal hasn't done anything too insane yet. But my rig is old. And Unreal is a chunky beast. And I'm watching a lot of Pirate Software. He's also an advocate for the sake of just make a game. Absolutely, try. No matter how shitty you think it is, you'll learn and have fun. Absolutely think Kim Stockholm. He was one of the ones who also inspired me to take part of this. And right now he's also doing a longer game jam, and I am very much tempted to add an extra project on my plate and take part in that one, because like I said, I've been doing these tiny game jams. This one is intended now to be a long-term project. I'm also using this, like I said in the beginning of this project, that as an excuse to spend time to learn about UI design. How do I actually make a menu? How do I have audio settings happen? How do I do keybinds? Because I don't have time for any of that in those 3-hour game jams. So having a year-long project with still an ambitious goal, but nothing too insane. I'm not aiming to get this fully done. It would be amazing if we do, but the goal is to get it into a sort of early access state, at best. The point is in a state where I'm not too ashamed to ask money for it, pretty much, even if it is early access kind of thing. So still ambitious, but I like to think realistic for the scope of the game we're trying to make. But if we add a game jam to that one, that'd be lovely. But yeah, I 100% agree with Thor from Pirate Software in that having just doing things is good, because human beings are creatures of pattern and adaptation. If we keep on starting projects that are too big, we end up abandoning them. I've done this many times. I've learned, and that hit, you get a moral hit in the motivation. And now your pattern is of, I can't do this. Every time I try, I fail. I give up. It's there. Can I really make it as a game? Oh no, there's no point in even trying. It's a failure anyway. And then I did my 3-hour game jams, and now I'm thinking, easy, just make a game, man. Because now I have to counterbalance these, but felt to me like failures. And let's be honest, the worst part is it feels like a personal failure, more like a freaking existential, oh man, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad game dev, I shouldn't even try, man, I'm such a failure, oh no. Those are the voices in your head. But your monkey brain is a machine made of meat. It needs to compare things. So now I have compared to these small number of what felt like failures, a large number of successes or semi-successes that feel okay. So they outweigh them. So now I have rewritten that pattern of failure into a pattern of it's okay, just keep trying. It's okay to try. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. It's a-okay. Just keep on doing it. Because you as you are now, experiencing reality is more like expression of your deeper inner self. And that deeper inner self is an expression of your sort of collected experiences in the world. And that's why sometimes it is smart to sort of tactically just think about, I need more like positive experiences to counter the negative ones. And positive experiences don't have to be ecstatic, magical, fantastical experiences of extreme success. Small victories matter, very much so. Victories over yourself, victories over, mostly actually victories over yourself. That's what really matters, I'd say. Hey there, Twitching. How deep in are we? All the way, man. I could really recommend his Discord. There's so many people willing to help and pitch ideas. I agree, Kim Stockholm. I got a lot, when I started streaming, I got a lot of good advice from there for like the closed caption system I'm using. I'm using the advice from there, how to set up my multi-streaming and for my TTS. Most of that is free. My TTS is the Google Cloud TTS. It is paid for, but even Thor, when he does large amount of TTS, he says he has at worst gotten a bill for a couple of cents, because obviously the billing and the system is designed for like making audiobooks or having a AI call center. So having your chat TTS, go through their system, it rounds down to zero. I say as I get slapped with an ad right away. Oh no! Hey there, Twerk. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back from the ad. And yes, how deep in are we? So deep, they had to like just throw you straight into like pre-rolls to like get you prepared for this. You pre-cooked. But yeah. I know Thorn has become a bit of a controversial figure in some circles. Regardless of of your feelings of the person, his message on game development is amazing. And his Discord is very friendly and very helpful. So for streamers looking for advice on streaming and like just check out like the kind of stuff, recommendations there, very much worth it. And for any and all game dev, game jam, art stuff, there's so many people there supporting each other, helping each other. Totally worth it. Worth checking out. Goblins like ads. It's true. We do. And I got a slightly newfound appreciation for coding, seeing I am doing some of it myself now. Very light coding, hey, nice. You gotta start somewhere. Like, I consider myself very much a, semi-self-taught amateur in everything I do, but I do still have years now of doing this. So, I do realize I am, further ahead on my coding journey than many people, but you gotta start somewhere. Starting anywhere, then you have your own personal interest and motivation to continue. It's totally worth it. So for Magna, if you want to do game dev, do it. Start simple. I would recommend, make your running game where you like the Google, there's no internet dinosaur running game. That one, I've done that one. Like I've tried to do that one out twice, and it can be surprisingly difficult, especially if you try to do that in 3 hours. Tower Defense is actually a complicated game. I tried to make one once. Couldn't get it to work, really. And it's mainly modding a game to have some orcs. Nice. Oh, but an amateur with a great mustache. Well, thank you, Kim Stockholm. I appreciate it. And modding a game to add orcs. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. See, now you have your own personal motivation, you have your clear goal, and you're handy because you're modding a game, which means, like, I enjoy Godot, you have documentation. You're not writing the entire game. You're just thinking, like, okay, using these blocks that already exist, how do I add something new? Like orcs. And then you have to think about, okay, well, how do I add sprites into this game? How do I make them look different? Can I use pre-existing ones? How do their stats work, and so on? So that will give you also a view into how games work, and you start, having a sort of pre-existing scaffolding to use to then figure out to get used to coding and logic that way, how a machine logic works. So good on Twerk. I have yet to make a single game mod. I would like to do that, and I'm being mildly actually, these silly, some more. I keep on having like more silly ideas lately with the whole game deving and modding stuff. Especially now the Hytale came out, because it also is extremely mod friendly, and I've been sort of with the half-eye every now and then watching Pirate Software work on his getting ready to port his game from Minecraft to Hytale. And it does look pretty interesting, and I'm realizing like, okay, this is a really cool game. This is similar to Vintage Story, heavily built for modding, but almost taken one step further. So, plus also Vintage Story is really cool. It could be interesting to see what kind of things can be added to that one. Yeah, I'm reversing some of the other code they got, so I just yoink and adjust as I need. Exactly, that is the way to start, because that, you know, you don't have to get used to like the way I'm doing it here, with like you have what defining variables and constants and all this. You can just do like as, because the logic is the tricky one. Once you get used to how code works, then you know these different languages, machines, they're just, you know, new dialects of a language, if you will. The logic is the one that you have to get used to. That can be a slight hurdle in the beginning, because you know your animal logic for the real, which works in the real world, doesn't always flow that well with computer logic. So you have to get first, you know, sort of like wrap your head around how these things think. And Hytale is super mod friendly. It's so cool. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, sorry. And I could show you once it's done. Oh, I would love to, Twitchy. What game, by the way? You mentioned it before, but I'm sorry, I've already forgotten. Just like I've forgotten to do any deving so far. I forget everything. Oh yeah, by Illwinter. Yeah, I never played any of the Conquest of the Elysium games, but I very much enjoyed the Dominions games. I think of the first one I played was Dominions 3. I played that a lot as a kid, and yeah, I really liked the game. The price tags are too high, but it is a auteur kind of game with a very like specific target audience who they know are willing to pay for it. So you know, I guess it's priced correctly in that sense. Yeah, I like Dominions, but I lean more towards COE. I should probably see if I can get well, if at some point I find myself with some extra cash, I'll get a copy of that one. Because I did very much enjoy Dominion, so I would imagine that the same engine, but built more, like you said, for a Heroes of Might and Magic kind of game rather than a world domination war game, could be a cool one. Yeah, modding Hytale could be fun. Modding Vintage Story could be a lot of fun. Modding anything. And I'm so used to building everything by myself, so I imagine like I would be so annoyed at sometimes modding, because I'm used to having like full control over everything, and then I'd be like, no, I want it to work this way, but the engine demands this. I'm like, yeah. But I want to get this number directly. But I believe it has similar modding, since it has a lot of compatible with other by the looks. Yeah, the Dominions and Conquest of Elysium. Yeah, I like the games also because, you know, they are using their own engine. So yeah, in that way, yeah, Conquest Elysium and Dominions obviously are using the same engine for how everything works. It's just like Dwarf Fortress has your fort mode and your adventure mode. They're using the same engine, the same logic, but you're just focusing on different aspects of what the engine does, and that way you can change the entire how the game works, what kind of game you're actually playing here. Okay. Well, let's try to get at least a little bit done here today. So we have the assets, attacks, circles, enemies, globals. So what we're doing now is we'll add this one for... I'll just call it UI for now. God damn it. I can only imagine it is, you know, all the RAM I don't know, is it CPU or RAM heavy that makes this thing scanning slow? Oh well, no matter. Make a new scene. A user interface scene. At this point, I'm going to call this one... Alright. I'll call you crafting menu for now. Our scene names... I keep on forgetting what is my naming scheme here. Root name, okay, fine, we'll do big C. This would be camel case when it's high everywhere, and snake case when it's only high later on, I believe. I can't remember. And I'll clickety-clackety on the OK, and crafting menu scene, go in the 2D. So we want to make a crafting menu, right? So, and for everyone here, we're gonna do the minimum 2 hours of game dev today, as is our way nowadays, and add it to the pinned message that game of the day will be voted in once we finish with this one. I made a small list of games I have installed. I tried to get a little bit of variety in there, and I know I'm the only one who likes apparently work as a resources, but that's okay. I enjoy the other games too. And I did my best to last night try to restart/delete my old Voice of the Void, Void Stranger save there, in case y'all feel like that one. Now, okay, first let's look at these notes. What do we even have? Void Stranger, in case you didn't know, is actually, funny enough, another Finnish game. Super cool, very simple graphics, wonderfully strange storytelling. It is a game about block puzzles, moving blocks around, similar to Baba Is You, except Baba Is You has more like logical puzzles. This leads to that. This one's more like just move blocks around to get it to the last. There's a name for it, like Japanese name for it, based on like an old ancient like warehouse game. But it's technically one of those, but it's also has a, should we say, strange, interesting like meta storyline. I hadn't finished it ever. I played through like chapter 1. And then, other games happened. And it is something, and I think it was either Anthoric or someone who requested I play that one at some point. So I'd like to, so we will be playing that at some point. Okay, so if we want that, so a panel is a geographical user interface, a GUI control that displays a style box. Let's go with that one for now then. We click in the crate. We'll zoom in on here. We can have our 0 point be there. Now this is the standard screen size. So if we imagine a menu that needs to have all the information, but I can see it easily enough, we'll make it that big for now. Making it amazing. Wait, how? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1. There. One of those tickly brain situations. Now, with the hierarchy of things in Godot, using these nodes, we can then make sure that whatever is the child of a panel will technically always remain inside panel. So this is where we're really gonna make use of how things get like automatically placed and in reference to each other with GUI elements. That's very handy for building your menus and things in Godot. Base class for all GUI containers is the container. Yeah, so this one, I want a margin. What is this one? Container that keeps a margin around its child controls. See, okay, for example, yeah, we'll do it this way. So we have one margin container. Oh, see, here we go. Fill. See, now as big as the panel. Now, this one will then maintain, this is essentially an entire node to do one single thing. And let's see here. It's not under layout. Where is your... Is it inside theme? No? Now I gotta remember like where all the things are. Focus. Neighbor left. Tells Godot which node it should give focus to if the user presses the left arrow, the keyboard. Oh, cool. So they can like click. Okay, neat. The theme overrides constants. Here we go. So margin, we choose these numbers and we'll put, I don't know, 10 for now in all of them. And I will show you why this one is neat, because yeah, this one you'll end up with large nested structures because it's worth it. I like to usually keep these, as simple and small as possible, but for UI elements, this is because it saves you so much on like design and laying things out and animation and so on, or like trying to figure out how it all works. Because this way, once they all exist in relation to each other, then you can also make like adjustable windows, and they will always strive to retain that. They'll adjust correctly, let's put it that way. So now inside this one, I want another container, box container, and it is an H. So horizontal. Well, VBox has a color picker, a widget that provides an interface for selecting or modifying a color. Okay, so you can just add a pre-made color picker. That is very handy. Should you want that, but we don't need it here. We want HBox, so a horizontal box container. The image is very self-explanatory. It makes things that whatever it contains, it arranges them that way. We click on create. See, it has a margin there automatically. I didn't need to put it in. It's just there. We can also give you, out of interest, like a second panel, because these panels are like automatically slightly dark. We can actually we can change how they are visually represented, but they're dark and slightly see-through. So 2 panels on top of each other become darker. So now we have like a lighter border just automatically appear. We're going to put them behind the HBox container, so whatever we put here will be in front of this one, and you will get 1, 2, 3. When we make our actual proper menu things and so on, there's a different one we're going to use that can like put in like sprites and adjust them correctly. For now, I'm just digging around this to have sort of some visual logic here. So now there's 3 panels, but you can see they're all essentially 2-dimensional. So if we look at this one, we look at your alignment, and I want you to expand. The second one, and I want you also to expand. Now there's 2 of them, and the third one is still a small, tiny one. I want you also to expand. So now they're all expanded. So now there's 3 squares here, but they're not really that well organized. So let's see. Our alignment center. Let's see here. Just notice a child of a container. Clip contents. No, it's not here. Begin under theme. There we go. Separation. It's also 10. As things keep on getting darker, that is not really working. So if we hide that one, for example, now we have a much more sort of visually clear. See, 3 grids. I can actually just, delete that one instead. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we have a lighter background and 3 separate grids. Neat. Back to lurking, nap time. Well, thanks for coming by, Kim Stockholm. I hope you have a most wonderful and restful nap. Sleep well, my friend, and thank you for that lurk. I do appreciate it. Now, the first panel here, we can actually now instantly just press F2. We rename this one as Circle Visual Container. Number 2 will be Rune Inventory Container. Yeah, these we won't be referencing too much, but I still want them correctly. And this one will be Attack Detail Container. Now, this one we'll actually, in the name of shenanigans, you also get a margin container. I will make you max out your size, theme override, constant, margins on all sides. We'll have all of these be just 5 for now. Was it Control A? Yeah. No. Yeah. Margin container, create. Same for you. All. Expand the ratio. It's nice to do something else, something a bit more visual after all those like hardcore. Oh, okay, if I add a number here, it'll automatically add it there. Very handy, very neat. Well, hello there, Ashley7899. Hope you're doing well. We save. Now the margin container for this one will then contain our rune visual. How should I make that happen? I have an idea. Will I play my winter card today? Sorry, actually, not today. I will be doing sort of my winter Mondays, I think, for the foreseeable future. I got too many games on the go at the same time. Plus, it is. I noticed at least not this time. This time we went funny shenanigans, but not the last time, because I do suffer from like chronic depression and seasonal affective disorder kind of stuff, and sometimes it being actual winter here also right now in Finland, they sort of like stacked up. And it gave me a little bit more of the big sad. I mildly know that these aren't quite as equal now. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Oh, and I said that because we using these nestings to make these all sort of match. So we go, oh, wrong one. This one. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Now we got 4 by 4 squares. Heckin' excellent. They're not quite perfect. Okay, yeah, because it's adding a little bit on the side. Well, you know what? It's close enough. Don't worry about it. Whoa. Yeah, sorry, actually, not today. Today will be, there's a list, as the pinned message, is the possibility for the game, the day for today. Once I'm done with this one for the 2-hour minimum of for today, then we'll be having a poll. And if anyone on the YouTube side wants to then join in, I'll be doing then a sort of more manual counting of the votes on that side. But the list is there in the chat. Oh, wrong one. So now I'm gonna just add to this one. Now having this be just the node, this one should actually be this panel. But we don't need to worry about that. This is a temporary structure. We don't need this. One is not supposed to be perfect. What needs to be is just good enough. Alright. In fact, I can hide the entire thing. And we'll be trying to draw this one sort of centered here. So if you imagine we're 4 by 4, and I want a large circle that goes kinda everywhere, with its middle in the middle properly. How about we do it like that? Three. No, answer is no. Where is it? We remove the grid. And discover that yes, the answer is no. Add the grid back. Hmm. Like almost, but not quite. So here we move the grade, we pump you up just a wee bit. Yeah, prime example of me spending too much time on stuff that is absolutely not important. Maybe. Can we make a proper triangle here? No. There's so 2 full plus 6. This is then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 full, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 full, 3, 3, 6. Okay. And yes, this is me getting stuck on extremely unimportant details. So what we want you to be is, I don't know, hopefully kind of gray, but I guess we'll do. Make it acceptable. And you are a child of that one. That looks acceptable. And then you have a few more polygon children. We do this one. Nope, wrong button. F2. There we go. Rune container 1. Duplicate this one. And I duplicate that one. We unmake that shit apparently. Okay, or not. Let's see. Can I then just data polygon? We have 8 of them. And again, I realized, wait, I'm making this in a silly and awkward way. And then I do it again. All right, no. Cancel. For you. Control A. Couple of polygons. We do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Ah, close enough. And you are rune container 2. There we go, and we do 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good enough. So we do rune container 3. Yeah, next time we would probably want to draw it in the middle again. Then duplicate those, then move them around. Then their center point will always be in the center of the thing rather than centers all over the place. But now all of these share the same 0 point, which is sort of what I wanted here. Color for these guys will be, I don't know, no, yellow, orange. Good enough. Actually, no. Silly me. You all are white. These bad boys we can then do. You can do a couple of other experiments with. So that is very small. Control Z undo. 1, 2. 1, 2. See, now there's 0 point moves as I grow them. 1, 2. So now they're not all centered anymore. Very tragic. And we do call this 1. Circle visual. So now I can hide everything else inside it. We show the panel once more, and we know that this one is the circle visual container. So I'm going to put this one inside this margin container. And your Control Z. Wait, hold down Alt. There we go. Well, shit. There we go. Right again. Circle visual. Because this one should be getting its sort of transform. guess we can do that through code. Inside process, we'll have, say, circle visual. Circle viz margin container. And in process, we do circle visual dot transform dot translated local. No. Transform is the same as circle viz margin controller dot transform. We save. And just out of interest, we like load in the menu instant crash invalid asset property key transform on a base project type of margin container. Well, that's my bad. So if we made that actual like picture, there's UI elements that can keep pixels, because these are an actual picture. These are actually like 2D models moving on a 2D model screen. My bad. Alright, suppose just come on, you bastard. My celebration of failure. There you go. Now shit won't move properly, and I might have to unmake the entire thing. Yeah, maybe it's way better if we just delete the entire thing, because it doesn't do what we need it to do. So we add a child node, we look at control nodes. So we focus on just using control nodes. So we could use colored rectangles. Item list, a vertical list of selectable items with one or multiple columns. Well, we know where that one's going. Put one in there. Select mode. Single. Allow reselect on. Oh, allow IRB, allow search, max text lines, auto height. Control will automatically resize the height to fit its content. Well, we'll have to figure out how those work. If we press F6, what happens? Instant crash because it's trying to move a thing that no longer exists. Stop. F6 again. Oh yeah. Now let's get an error because we have a function that contains nothing. And it is the core process function of that. Oh, right. Okay. Stop everything you're doing. Save. There we go. So now we're going to darken in a dark. So it's there. Wonderful. Things are kinda working. Which I would call a win. Now, for this one, then we will find another way to show the runes. And I was hoping to add some visuals already, but that was a bit silly of me. What's a tree? A control used to show a set of internal tree items in a hierarchical structure. What the fuck's a tree item? A single item on tree control can contain other tree items as children, which allows you to create a hierarchy. It also can also contain text and buttons. Tree item is not a node. It is internal to the tree. To create tree item, use tree.create item, tree item create child, remove tree item, blah blah blah, ID values, collapse. It's a lot of methods. Tree cell mode. Cell shows a string label, cell shows a checkbox, and cell shows a numeric range. Oh, sorry about that. Icon can't be edited nor display text. Adds a button with a texture 2D button at the column top. IDs use ID identify the button according to tree. Okay. Internal control for single item inside tree. Control used to show internal tree items and hierarchical structure. Are these linked lists? A control used to show the internal tree items in a hierarchical structure. The tree items can be selected, expanded, and collapsed. The tree can have multiple columns with custom controls like line edits, buttons, and pop-ups. Can be useful for structured displays and interactions. Trees are built via code using tree item objects to create the structure. They have a single root, but multiple roots can be simulated with hide root. Sounds very much like linked lists so far. To iterate over all the tree item objects in a tree object, use treeitem.getNext and treeitem.getFirstChild. After getting the root through getRoot, you can use object.free on a tree item to remove it from the tree. Incremental search, like item list and pop-up menu, Tree supports searching within the list while the control is focused. Press the key that matches the first letter of an item name to select the first item starting with a given letter. After that point, there are two ways to perform incremental search. 1. Press the same key again before the timeout duration to select the next item starting with the same letter. 2. Press letter keys that match the rest of the word before the timeout duration to match to select the item in question directly. Both of these actions will be reset to the beginning of the list if timeout duration has passed since the last keystroke was registered. You can adjust the timeout duration by changing GUI timer's incremental search max interval millisecond, I'm guessing. And it's a control canvas node. I'm gonna have to look into these more deeply. I think if we can use these to at least visually, then also declare, like, have all of our freaking runes. But these are freaking node and control things, which is not what we need directly. But I think I make it just your own little. Oh, there. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, this is why I like then doing a large project that takes me out of my comfort zone, because I keep on discovering new things. The engine is still so big, I could do, I don't know, courses that teaches me everything about Godot, or I can just start building shit and see what happens, because the documentation, like I said, is very good. You see, we just control-clicked and control-click a couple of hyperlinks and we're here. Heckin' love it. Good documentation makes life so much nicer. What are you building? I'm building the game for this year, which is the DIY Wizard, which I'm calling it so far. I had to come up with a better name. I'm trying to create my crafting system for using singular runes to make your magical attacks. So I'm using, think Vampire Survivor / Brotato, maybe leaning more closer to Brotato, but with a sort of attack structure system similar to Noita, except instead of using like a fireball spell and a triple cast to build your attack, you're using runes to, build the fireball itself. So it's much more granular. That is the core concept I'm working with. And right now, I'm trying to make a little UI element, a little menu where we can visually see what we're building, because these past few days I've been working on like pure code with no visuals to get the sort of node spell circle rune structure to kind of flow, kind of work. And I'm entering the state where, okay, I'm gonna need to more easily see what's happening and change stuff on the fly. And I also wanted a little bit of a change of pace, so we're making a UI element right now. A menu. And I'm using just panels. This is not how the final thing will look. We're just using panels, playing around with what exists and seeing if I can figure this one out. It is fixed with 3 elements. Now the magic, we're currently using 4 elements. The Western, the earth, air, water, fire. But the idea is to eventually then have a more complex magical elemental magic system, to have a very complex elemental system with interactions and also hierarchies of elements where certain elements can be in multiple places. Because you want to extend the best way to use a grid. I'm not sure. Oh, this one is it's fixed for 3 elements. Oh, this one, yeah. We're just using an HBox container because this I'm going to build a proper UI menu, eventually. Right now I need something for testing and also just, like I said, a change of pace and like mucking about with these Godot nodes for making one. On the visual, we want the visual on the left. I built one out of polygons. Then I realized that is actually the completely wrong way to do it. So I deleted the entire thing, and now I'm just looking at, we have an item list here, which I think could work. I never used one, so it'll be fun. And then on the right, we'll have the actual attack details of how much damage you're making, the size of the attack, speed, all of that. Thank you, Bigger Need, for that follow. I really do appreciate it. And hope you, my friend, have a wonderful day as well. And oh, would you look at that? You even pushed me past that hecking follower goal. 790. Wow. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Very kind of you. Yeah, so this is the game project for the year, the long-term one, is getting this to work and also using this as the next, because I've been making so many of those mini games, the TryJam 3-hour games. So I think I got like the core of making something work in Godot. I figured that part out. Now these are the things that also then take more time, like how do I build a menu, how do I build a UI, how do I have settings, how do I actually make an audio slider and make it actually affect things in the world, how do I give the player the option to rebind keys. So those are the kind of stuff we were hoping to figure out and learn more during this year. And right now we're just building a simple temporary menu. We're doing it quick and dirty, but I keep on getting like distracted anyway. So this is the circle visual margins, because I want there to be a visual element with the runes in action. Now we could just place stuff in here, which is what I'm going for here. I just saw the tree node and I was confused, but what is this thing? An editor of a graph align structures using graph nodes. This class is marked as experimental. Ooh, okay, yeah, this is 4.3. I really should update my Godot as well. Might break the entire project, but yeah. Well, I'll try to add a note somewhere. 9 patch rectangle menu bar align edit. Maybe we'll just do a... Traces of your world hunt me down inside. No, too much audio. Too much voices, vocals. Tickles my brain wrong. And we'll do a VBox container with 3 texture rects. Press time for disable the focus state. Yeah, we don't give a shit about those. We do want... And we do F1, no, F2, and... Well, your rune container 1, rune container. Keep on pressing F1, I'm gonna need to press F2. And rune container 3. And the VBox alignment center. Theme override constant separation of 30. Yep, close enough. Then we'll figure out what goes in them. We're gonna use, well, something to get a texture in there. And the middle one is supposed to have an item list. But I have no idea how these things work. Can I like control click from here? Very tragic. No, we cannot. So we save F1. Item list. How do these things work? This control provides a vertical list of selectable items that may be in a single or in multiple columns, with each item having options for text and an icon. Tooltips are supported and may be different for every item in the list. Very handy. Selectable items in the list may be selected or deselected, and multiple selection may be enabled. Selection with the mouse button may also be enabled to allow use of pop-up context menus. Items may also be activated by double-clicking them or by pressing Enter. Neat. All set. Pointer method, okay. Incremental search, like pop menu tree. Okay. Sorry, I had to finish the coffee. It had gotten way too cold. Incremental search, like pop-up menu and tree, item support search with my list, focused. That'll be interesting to look at. Properties bool for clip contents, control to focus mode, reselect right mode to select search auto int, fixed column width, icon mode, icon scale, item count, max column, max text column, same column with select mode. Add item. Add an item to the list with specified text. Returns the index of an added item. Specify icon or use null as the icon for the list with no icon. If selectable is true, the item list will be selectable. Returns the index of an added item. Deselect, ensure the item associated with the specified index is not selected. Ensure if there are no items selected. Okay, so I'll have to have a list with stuff. And based on the order they're in, we'll be giving this, adding them into this one. That way they'll have the same index. So we use the integer when messing around with the list to refer to the actual object in the actual list, I think. We can get the texture 2D icon from a resource file. Easy enough. Huh. I got no idea how to make this shit work. Alright, so if we click here, make a new resource under resources here. Class resource. Wait, power source rune. Create. Well, save resource as test underscore power source underscore 100. Save. Now, in order to make that list, we're gonna have to have, you know, shit be visible here. Total power starts at 0. Init new total power. New total power goes into here. With an if new total power does not equal 0, less than or equal to 0, so no negatives. No. Yeah, new total power is greater than 0. Then total power is new power. Otherwise. And then we do if. Alright, we'll make it again. Dumb. If total power less than or equal to 0.0, then total power has a value of 100.0. Actually, make that 10. So now it'll be different from what we're expecting. We can do total power adjustment here. By default, I'll use 0. If it's greater than 0, that becomes a new value. But we're not doing it through code, so this will not activate. We're setting this in the thingy, so you should be also overpowered. It should probably be done there. There's no point doing this one in here. And this math should probably guess there is no ready. Fair enough. Now if I look at the script, no. Double click here. Input power is empty, total power is 0. So for this one, I want you to have 100. Click there for new elemental power. Quick load. Clear, there we go. So if I change your total power there, we'll see if this works. So now we have a test power source 100. We'll make another one, rune power source. Class, create. Test, under testy, no, test. Power source underscore 150. Here's 150. Okay, so those exist. Then we make another one, and you are the filtration systems, rune filtration class, create. We do a test, filtration underscore fire. We save. I'll cancel before we muck around too much. So this one, filtration. Let's see here. Crafting, circle, audio, rune filtration. Here we go. So exporting more for the filtration, the elemental power here. I don't think we need that. Efficiency in inefficiency, yes. And now how did we... Property enum, Rebecca Mary Leah, character name string. Use export enum there, so rune filtration. So we do this one, then we do export enum. What? And within parentheses, all of those, and the variable. Okay. We'll have fire, water, air, earth. Filtration target, string. And now we have a list here. And we can choose these. Excellent. So now we know the filtration target here. Init, to filter string, none. Filter dictionary, get elements. Filtration target to filter, efficiency, whatever. We do if filtration target. Oh, wait, no. I think we can do if not filtration target. Then that one. Save. It did a filtration. Yep. Now that should work. Efficiency for 0.8. inefficiency at 0.3. So there we go. Funny numbers. Make it 7 too. Okay. Those are for the fire. Well, that's stuff for like sprites and shit, so we can actually have textures eventually. Test. Filtration. Copy. Water. Save. Water. Air. Earth. Save those in there. So we'll look at air. 0.7. 0.3. You are air. Earth. 0.7. 0.3. We could have done these in here, but I guess, well, now we're doing it this way around. That was Earth. .7. 0.3. Water. Shape. I'm gonna put you somewhere eventually. For now, I can live there. It's okay. And one more for projection rune. Do tests underscore projection underscore bolt. Even though currently it's the only one we have, so it's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, so now we have these resource files, the attached scripts. Now we want to make a list of these. And if we were sensible, we would have like a piece of script that reads like what kind of resource can you find in this folder? Are they, and depending on the naming scheme, you'll then identify them. Let's see if we can make that work actually. Now, crafting menu. Let's see. An array. Alright, cool. So we do var. Rune list of type array equals load. Single for loading resource files. Singleton used to load resource files from the file system. It uses many resource format loader classes registered in the engine, either built-in or from plugin, to load files into memory and convert them to a format that can be used by the engine. Import the files onto the engine first to load them using load, or if you want to load images at runtime, you have to use image.load. Audio, okay, with data. Yeah, for dep in resource loader get dependencies path print new ID and path. might just load. Resource, load, path, string, type hint, string, cache mode, loads a resource at given path, caching the result for further access. The registered resource format loaders are queried sequentially to find the first one which can handle the file's extension, and then attempt loading. Right. Fine. There you go. Reload a bunch of bullshit like that. And we'll see if we can, get this shit to work. We have an array equals let's remove those extras. There we go, rule list array, and we'll just have the filtration ones for now. In ready, we'll see about... There we go. On ready, item list is loaded in into item list. And we'll say for rune in rune list item list dot add item Now where is the rune base, rune name, export, save. We check out we do just, I guess, here. Earth. Fire. Fire. Water. Alright. Now I got these, they got names, all that jazz. Name's rune name. Add. Rune. What else do we need? We need rune rubne. Rune dot rune name. So I press F6 to simulate this menu. Will it crash immediately? Oh shit. We're getting it to kind of work, guys. Kind of working. And then what? Okay, so the point is after we do this, then we'll have access to this one. Then we'll somehow send that somewhere else. Okay, so we're gonna have to have like some sort of freaking global resource manager bullshit, which will be like, hey, yo, here's that list of runes you got. And the player, of course, will themselves know what kind of shit they got in their inventory. Or maybe they should just have some kind of reference ID or something to know which runes they have, and then the sort of resource manager will find them when necessary. Jesus. Man, building like actual data structures. What a mess. But hey, we are learning. Invalid filtration target in. Ooh. Interesting. These shouldn't be targeting or activating. So if we look at the filtration class, why are you... If filtration target equals none, if not filtration target, so if I comment this shit out, we just never fuck around with that. And we F6 again, do we get the same? Okay, so that one was activating for some reason. Oh, right, see, I forgot. We gotta go here. We gotta check the remote so we see what we actually have here in the panel. Margin container, HBox container, rune inventory, margin container, item list. Frigate frac, a scroll bar. Item list text air. Okay, yeah. So now we have a list with texts, names of things, and because they're taken from the list of shit we got, we can have them referencing each other that way. Okay. Right, yeah, this is just a visual element. Okay. We'll have the actual list somewhere else, managed by the proper manager. It's gonna be fine. Now the crafting menu. Do we need buttons? If double click. How do we allow reset? Select mode. Allow single or multiple item selection. That's not what we need. Wait, no, of course. Is it under node? Is it signal item list empty? Clicked, triggered when any mouse click is issued within the rectangle of the list, but on empty space. Item activated. Triggered when the specified item list is activated by double clicking or by pressing enter. So that's what we want. Multi-mega click connector. Now item list, item activated. Right, so now we gotta copy this shit over from here over to the player manager. We'll preload all this shit. And there you go. The filter rune list. Naming conventions got all fucked again. There you go. The filter rune list as those. We'll have here a func get filter rune list. No inputs as an output of an array. Return, you guessed it, the filter rune list. Now we have that one, and now we have the visual list in the same order as this list. Now, if we double click on the menu, it should do something, which is to do something to the runic circle in question here. Now to add some freaking god dang ya bastard. There you go. Visual separation from all this nonsense. Now, if we double click, we'll have called a func called oopa, and it has do a set underscore new underscore filter. Filter index, there we go, with an integer. Outputs nothing. Now what do we do? Well, something to do with the runic circle. So runic circle dot change underscore filter, and you need the filter rune list dot brackets filter underscore index. So with an integer we get the resource from here. I'll give it to the runic circle. So the runic circle, and get attack just returns final attack. Reset spell state check. We reset the spell state. What the frick the frack we did? I just call it. I called it. Yeah. Boom. There you go. Remove that one. Think about that later. It's not important right now. Reset spell set, check circle, get attack, calculate cooldown, new spell state. And we ain't doing shit with cooldown yet. That's okay. We do a func change filter. What do we get? We get a no. The hell was it called? Rune filtration, yeah. We do new underscore filter of type rune filtration. Output will be void currently, and rune containers position 1, which would be the second one, which is where we have our filter currently, takes in the value of new filter. We have to get attack. All the way down there. Change filter followed by func of get underscore filters. 0 input. Output an array. Wow, there we go. I want you to return rune containers and filters. I mean, get runes, you bastard. Again. We're continuing with our stupidly simple construction. Need a lot more modularity for what we want it to eventually do, but right now we just need to get even this dumb structure to work. Because see, this is bad, which is hard coding number one, but what if we have a different set of stuff? What if the runes are in different positions? We gotta be able to then like look at our rune containers and well, technically what we need is like change rune in spot specs. The rune containers themselves might actually need to be their own class object so that they can like modularly be wherever on which have referenced that single rune container. And we tell you, hey, yo, change what's inside you, that'll work. And the circle itself doesn't really care about where they are, and it just goes through them in order. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be best. That will be the best way to go. Right. Okay, we've got rune containers, new filter. Yeah, man, we're getting there. We are slowly getting there into building a silly little thing that might hopefully do a silly little work. Now, this also means that right, we need to go in the inspector. We need to give all of these buggers a name. They can't be called default rune because they are properly made like resources here. And the projection of bolt will be we'll call you just bolt. That's what you are. And you are. Whoops, the wrong one. There we go. You are called power underscore 100. And you are called power underscore 150. No, not 1580. It's a bit more than intended. Now they all have names. So we can use those names to, show what's where. So look at the crafting menu, and I want an element here to show the... Oh, there we go. Okay, we have a name here. The Herkin, rune, and containers. We do rune viz VBox circle viz VBox container. There you go. Makes sense now for me. Alright, so how do we show them? We'll probably have to have a function here. To func called update the circle visual activated somehow with no inputs and no outputs, but what it does is looks through these three containers. The easiest way would be most likely through here. We add the circle viz VBox container will be circle viz containers. It's still bigger than I was expecting, but it's fine. Now we do for rune container in circle viz container dot get underscore children. Now we get an array from here, and we go with this one. So then we go with each individual thing in the array, which will be one of these rune containers. Currently is a check textured rectangle. So we got to change these things now, don't we? We can change the type into a label. Because in a label, we can just easily like slap in text and it'll work. Now, for the rune container, then rune underscore container dot text has the value of banana. No. The circle based container has get children, but also I guess before that we're gonna want a underscore index to again visually make it more sense, and we do count. And then we add into a variable here, we do current underscore runes, which should be an array, which we get by doing player manager dot runic circle dot get. Jeez, was it just get runes? What did I call it? Circle base. Get rune array. Yeah, that makes slightly more sense to me. We say we jump back into here and we change that one that way. So we just get runes. It's a bit like, no, man. There we go. So now one array here. Then we do into another one will be freaking these little rune labels. They're also an array takes the value of circle based container dot get underscore children. So now you have two arrays which should be the same size, only currently they're 3. So yeah, we're doing this, like I said, in a direct, ugly, stupid manner, which should work. So now the rune index will be a number from 0 to how many we got. I believe. Hopefully, at least. And then we can have rune underscore labels in the parentheses. Let's just call it index. I don't know, the thing doesn't have to be this long. Rune labels index dot text take the value of current runes index dot get rune name. Save that one. No immediate new bugs. Is this thing empty? That's empty. Empty. I'm gonna move a tea bag. Okay, got the 2 hours done. Good. Now it's all just good times. Okay. So update circle visual. We go there now. Yeah, that should be enough. I realized. Now, item list item activated. We have an index for which one it is. As such, oh right, we have this one also now saved inside player manager. Do crafting menu. Oh, No. You're not supposed to know any of this. You're just supposed to grab it from somewhere. Currently, you're just grabbing straight from Player Manager Filter Rune List for our Filter Rune List here. Now, when we activate an item list, I wanted to change that one in the circle. Now, the circle has the circle base. We added things like change, filter, new filter, rune filtration. Now, I guess you should be, instead of new filter, change from here to Player Manager, Filter Rune List, Index. Index of type integer. So we just call wait, no. That'll remain the same. Just change filter will be called from Player Manager. Of course, will be do a func of sets underscore new underscore filter, where we get the new underscore filter underscore index of type integer. We return nothing. Runic circle dot change filter, which takes in filter rune list in the position of new underscore filter underscore index. Save. Set new filter has the same name as the previously declared function. How clever of me. I came up with the exact same solution twice in a row. Hey, whips. Excellent. So we do player. No. On item list activated. Player manager dot set new filter takes in the index we got from there. Followed by update circle visual in ready. Yes. How you doing there, bro? Are we doing well, Axel? Not change filter, but when in ready, first we do for Rune and Rules, we add those to the list, and then we call update circle visual, which will do something. This might crash. It did. Wonderful. Get children count based on VBox container. Eight, save, F6. We're dealing with the global, so it should kind of still work. Holy shit. Double click. It's working. So, us messing about with the UI is kind of doing something. Wonderful. Now we need to have some info about the details here. We'll need a label, which we shall call call you damage title because of this. Add a child node, which will be VBox container. And another VBox container. There we go. This will be damage info container. You have the damage title. Onto you know what, that's done. We don't need a title. We'll just do fire damage. Air damage. Oh, water damage. Earth damage. Only one of these should ever have a number. Then you need a label for F2 speed. Label for size. And this will be cooldown, which will calculate somehow. Cooldown, size, speed. Okay, so back to the code. This thing works. This thing works. Update circle visual. Func. Update. Attack. Stats. No inputs. No outputs, because you're just gonna look at these things. Poly size label. Because size is a variable used by the engine, and that's why I got a little to change color there for a little while. So we have those. Might as well put the entire container there. C container. Here we go. Well, expected I did, oh. And that too. Okay. So update attack stats. Where do we get these attack stats? We'll need... Look at circle base. From here, we can call get attack. Return an attack base, which has all our information. Var attack typecast attack base equals Player manager, runic circle, get attack. And from this one, we do and speed dot text equals speed space comma do and plus stringify attack dot speed. And we do size label dot text has the value of size plus stringify attack dot size. Jump into attack base. Yeah, hacking perfect. Damage we get from elemental power. Elemental power, we can do get elements. Check here. We got fire, we got air, earth and water the wrong way around. There you go. And get in. Yeah, get elements. We go back to here. We do some of these weird, awkward mega lines here. So we do for lm in player manager runic. No, we have it in the attack. Telling me in attack dot get underscore no damage dot get elements. Then okay. Bar index equals 0. Just for doing a little something. So then we look at damage info container dot get underscore children within the brackets of index dot text as the value of. We stringify lm, which is technically I guess already a string, but we'll see what happens if we do that. Then we plus this, and we add into that a stringified value of. This is getting so weirdly awkward, but we'll brackets lm. Then index plus equals 1. And go here, and we do update attack stats, press F6, and we'll explode. It might. Ooh. Winnet parse global class circle base from res circle base circle base. What? Could not resolve external class member runic circle. The hell? Multiple saves. F16 again. Ah. F8, F6. Pretty damn cool. Okay. So. Yeah, what I thought. Circle visual. Attack stats are statin. And we're only... You do filter rune list. And filter rune list. Now, if we then had player manager, we do var power rune list, also an array as a value of those two. Yeah, I mean, these things be so hard coded. Something we need to work on. But for now, kind of works. We do for player manager power rune list. All right, so now we have power runes here as well. I add to you VBox container. You contain this here item list, which we'll do now into a filter list. And a power list. Power list shall be connected there. And have been disconnected. So power list item activate. Look to player manager. Set new, let's call this one power for now. Set new power. Power index. Change power. Power. Power rune list. And a power index. Save. Change. Power inside circle base. Func. Copy paste. New underscore filter. Enough type. Rune power source. Void. Rune containers. 0. Takes in the value. New underscore power. Save. You know, you should both also do a check circle. And here we go. There we go, and set new filter changes to set new power. We'll save, press F6. Ship broke. Cannot call method an item at a null value. Exactly. You're completely correct there, engine, because item list no longer exists. Delete the entire thing. Now we have filter list. We do func populate underscore lists. For rune in power rune list. Then power list dot add item rune dot rune name. We do that. It's not populate, it's populate. Populate lists. There you go. And you're angry because supposed to be filter list. There we go. And then we press F6 again. Do we crash? Ooh, we didn't. Lists are empty though. Or rune in filter rune list, which should be here. Filter list dot add debugger. Ah, wait, no. Move that one. You don't need any of that information. Save that one. Fix that error completely. Now, crafting menu. Why do it no longer work? That works. These work. Why nothing here? Is it? Inspector alignment in the center. Well, should not be this one. We filter list and power list. We take the script here. We got filter list and power list right here. Filter list and power list, item list. Ready. We update circle visuals, update tax data, populate lists. For rune in filter rune list, filter list dot add item rune 9. Rune name, right? I'll add a break there, I guess. Press F6, see what happens. There we go. Rune is this guy. He has a name. So, jump to the next one. This room. Now Earth. Okay, so if we look here at filter list. Multiplayer authority. Who gives a shit? Single item 0 text. Panel margin against both rune inventory. That one has all the things. And you also have all the things. So, population of lists has gone absolutely correctly. So why are you not visible, my friends? Inside this one, inside this one, inside this one. Yeah, you should be. Very visible. Okay. Shit works now. Amazing. Except, let's see here. Alignment center. There was another one. Is it ordering? No. You know what? It's good enough. We can do the testing this way. Ooh, invalid access property key type string and space type of dictionary. So activate rune. Rune's filtration class DD on function activate rune. Power dictionary dictionary spell state roll power get elements. There's an empty string in here for some reason. How did that happen? Holy butt magazine, goddamn TKO boom, how you doing? How is your Street Fighters going? Did you fight those streets? Did you punch the sidewalk? Welcome in, Raiders. Hi and hello. For those who don't know me, I'm Hanno, son of Hanno, variety streamer, and as you can see now, occasionally an extremely amateur game developer. Trying to figure out why this dictionary now has one empty string in it. One string too many. Makes no sense. Where'd it come from? Where'd it go? Where'd it come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Hey there, Boom. Hope you're doing well. For those who don't know, TK Boom's a wonderful streamer. Streams all kind of cool shit. A lot of Street Fighter lately, and also some of Valheim. Lately been doing an interesting sort of first-person view only run. How's that one going, by the way? And plays other cool games. Lots of these team horror survivals like the Outlast Trials and so on. Wonderful streamer. In case you weren't already following, you definitely should. At least go check him out. Now let's see. We've got the Activate Rune here. Now what? So change filter. This is the only thing we're doing differently. Then we're doing a check circle. Check circle, reset spell states, rune containers, rune activate rune spells, states, attack. And activate rune is infiltration. Now we're looking at the filter dict. I'm allowed to stay in chat, but it's 5:35 a.m. here. Holy shit, and I gotta work today. Ended up playing as C4 6 for far too long. Great time stream and find that missing thingy. Thank you, TK Boom. I'll do my best to find the thingy, and I hope you get some good sleep before, you know, the work starts, man. 5 a.m. Rough. That's rough. I got up at like 6 something a.m. today. You know, dang. 5:30. That's wake up times, no sleepy times. Yeah, sleep well, my friend. Sleep well. Now, it looks like on filter list item media, set new filter, change filter. And then what we've changed, added these check circles at the function. Now they do for rune in rune containers, rune activate rune spell states. And we come here, then we do that with the new filter, which is a resource. And let's see here. In activate rune here, we see filter dict. Alright, if we look at members, rune name, spark, rune name, filtration. Yeah, you have one too many. And all your values are 0. Main element is none. Okay, that's not supposed to be possible. So let's have a look-see here. All values 0, you're none inside an init thing. For element in filter dict lm equals inefficiency, which these would be then none and that. None doesn't exist, and then somehow it made it. Oh, because you use then the filtration target, which would be an empty string. Yeah, so it created a new one. Right. So solution might be dang it. Held down that button for too long. If you comment this one out. Now, I think it's working with the elemental power nonsense. We'll create a new one when we enter. But if we're building these as resources, we probably should be doing that much shit in script. Bonk. Set underscore filtration. The filter dict from filtration get elements or element filter dict LM equals inefficiency filter efficiency. And we do that here. You know, it's bad and ugly solution, but it might be kind of working it. Blue belt is currently on a 70 stream streak. Holy shit. Thank you very much, the blue belt. I'm glad you like it here. Hope you're having a good day, my friend. Having a wonderful day. Okay, too many arguments for a new cause, but at most 0 received 3. Now, these are just default values, and there's no runes. So if we click on Earth, and then power 100, and then Earth, fire, water. None of that is getting calculated. But the runes here are changing, so the system is kind of working. Now we need those numbers to roll. Well, thanks. Glad to hear it. So how do we... Then we look back to the circle base here. We do... And we're even doing the check circle, which is running through reset spell states, E4 rune and rune containers, rune activate rune spell state, final attack, spell state attack, return final attack. Right? And aside, so the final attack is updated every time we change the rune. You would look at update attack stats or LM. Yeah, okay, let's make that slightly more clear. We do bar, not v bar, variable for. Oh, we have the attack already. Initial get attack. ATK underscore elements is a elemental power that is from attack dot damage. I do believe, yes. Look at our attack base. Yep. Dot get elements. ATK elements. You're not elemental power. This is to your dictionary. There we go. Damage, info, container. Okay. Now we do variable label array type. No, array, which equals damage info container dot get underscore children, because it outputs an array of variables, which these would be the labels. Speed text, size level text, that's it, absolutely fine. For element in attack elements, which will be here, yeah. Close all that into label array index. There. Equals stringified elem, which is element in question. Stringify. Then attack damage get elements. ATK element. ATK elements. Okay, so it works. We have the text appearing in the numbers. So that was never not working. Well, the logic is no more. Upgrading the attack isn't doing what we want. So I'm assuming the filters are broken, which is weird. If we look at this one, you can see the numbers. Add those into air and earth. We save the changes we made. We have 6 into here again. Nothing should be changing for the others, like water and power 100. Nothing changes. How about earth? Air? No? No, I don't think a ready function exists. Or is this one overriding those somehow? Put a ready in there and just see will it break. Well, that didn't mess around with it. See, because the name changes, the power does. Nothing's happening here. We'll add into the circle base here. We do the check circle, return final attack, and we print circle calculated. Yep. We keep on going through that one. Var projection rune list with an array with a single thing inside. The bolt. Because this could be the one messing it up, because that's why we don't have any like damage values, so we'll see. And do func set new projection no inputs, no outputs currently, because all it does is runic circle dot change underscore projection, and you're just straight up giving it projection rune list, position 0. The very first one, the only thing in there. Now, chain projection, have it inside runic circle. With a func, new underscore projection of type rune projection with an output of void and rune containers position 2 takes the value of new projection followed by check circle. Why not? Now, when do we change the projection? I think we could do it inside our crafting menu. Site ready. Very first thing you do, go to the player manager, set new projection. F6 in there, do an explosion. We do invalid access property key of type string and object type dictionary. Ooh, interesting. Now the filtration dict has once more gained a nothing. Check circle, change projection, set new projection. Right. Right, okay. We go back here to the circle base, and we don't do that. Save, F6 again. So that way we can do the new projection rune in there. It has a bolt. Then I give it a filtration and a power. Yeah, circle keeps on getting calculated, but now we have the bolt like preset there, boom, and then we don't, because the default thingy is here, we're messing with that one. So are we... Update the tank stats. We never... It might have been working all this time. All this time. Because you know what I was not doing? Updating the numbers. I made this final update attack stats and I call it singly once, and that was when the entire thing was just... Oh, when we turn it on, we run that one time. Get those zeros in there, and then we never look at it again. Bad poop. Fine. So update circle visuals is currently that one. So we'll do a new func here, which we shall call update, func update menu visuals. No inputs, no outputs. All it does is cause, well, these three. I'll cut them out. Now paste them in. And we do, no, not circle. Update menu visuals. And here we push the buttons, update circle visual, no, update all of it. Now, well, the numbers on the right. Got bolt being already in there. We need a filtration. Ooh. That's wild. Ah. Populate lists does not belong here. Let's try it again. So I kept on, like, writing shit in the list again and again. Earth, power 100, power 150. Interesting. Okay, but it's working though. Not the way I wanted it to, but I guess the problem was the value 1. You're not rounding this bullshit into an integer, right? Go to remotes, player manager. Unique circle. Final attack. Damage. No, you got a 1 there somehow. Well, that, my friend, is a mystery for tomorrow, I think. Because we've been at it now for over 3 hours and of our minimum 2 hour thingamabob. So now let us save what we got done. We look at the... Oh, thing's still on. We can't even properly save. There we go. Now we save. What do we get done? Crafting UI, how do they work? No idea. Add another question mark. Crafting components, circle details, stored in player manager. We're getting there. Click and drag. Yeah, nowhere near that. So, these are daily goals. Kind of achieved something, I guess. Not really what we wanted to, but something. Yeah, we're gonna have so many freaking files filled with so many definitions and all that nonsense. And this is just a little UI thingamabob. But the good thing is, thanks to trying to build a UI thingamabob, which is, what people will be interacting with, we are also then unearthing all kinds of issues with how I built the logic so far. So, this has been very valuable, even though I didn't really achieve anything of what I really wanted to get done. But instead I have an achievement that I didn't know I needed to do. So that's that. But now I need to have a little break. Need to go to the toilets, need to refill my drinks, all that good stuff. And in the meantime, so that I can do this sensibly, because I don't have enough screens to think. 3 screens is not enough. Need a 4th one. Maybe even a 5th one someday. We'll... might as well switch here, I guess. I'm trying to think of, I don't have a scene for this. I need a new, proper, pause screens scene or something. Like all the professionals have, I don't know. Make a collection of random ass clips and play those or something. But for now, we are gonna have to open up the Browseroonie and make that poll I was talking about. And if you guys don't feel like voting, that's a-okay. Worst case scenario, we just play Dwarf Fortress, I guess. So manage poll, which game to play, new one. Be the game of the day, question mark, not do here. Oh, game of the day. So, sponsors. We have those written down here. We have, our options are Dwarf Fortress, Void Stranger, Workers and Resources, and Mars First Logistics. There we go. Start of the poll. Over 10 hours, 10 minutes. Put on the... Oh, I don't have BRB on this one. So I'm gonna change... There we go. So the BRB. The poll is happening. On YouTube side, you can see the one comment with the list. You can, I don't know, try to poll, use that to poll vote if you want, if you feel so inclined. But like the text says, I will be back soon. Just gotta take care of my weak human needs, and then we'll be switching over to actual gaming. So, see you soon. Hello, I've returned. Now let's see. Well, I'll send the poll early. View the results. I knew it. So here we go. We shall jump. We shall do the changes here. So I'm going to change again the scene once more to me in the cup. There we go. Because we are in fact starting soon again, especially over on the YouTube side. Thank you everyone for hanging out. But it is time to close this off and switch on over. Whilst we're designing the new names here. Didn't like that, did it? This text may conflict. There's moderation policy. Oh, I can't call myself a moron. That better? There you go. Moronus make fortus. There you go. Switching on over to the Dwarf Fortress now. So, thanks for hanging out on YouTube. We shall be turning off this live stream and then properly starting up the next one with the correct title and everything. So, thanks for hanging out, and that I will